Much for attending this press briefing on an announcement and an update on the Ocean Conference here at the UN in June. I'm very pleased to introduce our panelists visiting from New York City, Penny Abeywardena, the Commissioner of the Mayor's Office for International Affairs, the City of New York, Natalia Vega-Berry, the founder and executive producer of the World Ocean Festival, which we're going to hear about, and also the founder and CEO of the Global Brain Foundation, and His Excellency Peter Thomson, the President of the United Nations General Assembly. And so without further ado, let me ask Penny Abeywardena to kick us off. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dan. It is such a pleasure to be here. As Commissioner for the Mayor's Office for International Affairs, and on behalf of the Mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, it is an honor to be here today to announce the inaugural World Ocean Festival, which will take place in advance of the high-level conference on the implementation of SDG 14 and oceans at the United Nations in New York City. Thank you to the UN President of the GA, the Honorable Peter Thomson, for his commitment to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, specifically SDG 14, which is focused on conserving and sustainably using the oceans, seas, and marine resources for sustainable development. The festival, organized by the Global Brain Foundation, will galvanize people across the world by raising public attention to the Sustainable Development Goals and SDG 14 right here in New York City, a premier coastal city. Through these gatherings, people will come together to catalyze specific steps we can take as a community to preserve our oceans and engage our citizens, and in particular, our young people. With 520 miles of coastline, the de Blasio administration recognizes the need for cities to lead on protecting the planet from degradation through sustainable consumption and effective management of the world's natural resources and mitigating the adverse impacts of climate change. To this end, my office launched Global Vision Urban Action, a signature program that looks at how the global sustainable development goals are being implemented at the local level. This program is importantly predicated on the idea that while countries and cities share similar challenges, they also, very importantly, share solutions. New York City is taking the lead in working to achieve these goals through this administration's development agenda called One NYC, the Plan for a Strong and Just City. One NYC is an innovative blueprint for the city's future that focuses on growth, equity, sustainability, and resiliency. April 22nd, which is also appropriately Earth Day, marks the 2-year anniversary of One NYC's launch, so this festival is particularly timely. We are also focused on engaging our youth in the work of the United Nations. Through our New York City Junior Ambassadors program, students are encouraged to understand themselves as global citizens by learning about the global goals, particularly the SDG 14, and how to take action on climate change in their own communities and neighborhoods. Once again, I am thrilled that New York City is co-hosting the inaugural World Oceans Festival, showcasing not only the critical importance of conservation, and as I am a bit biased since I come from New York City, our beautiful city harbor. We're proud to be host city to the United Nations and look forward to welcoming the visiting delegations during the high-level conference and the many attendees to the festival. I want to thank the UN, the Global Brain, and the UNPGA for their leadership on this issue. The de Blasio administration will continue to stand with you to protect our planet and our oceans. Thank you.
Terrific. Thank you so much for that announcement. And now, Natalia Vega-Berry, founder and executive producer of the World Ocean Festival. Why don't you give us some more details about what's being planned?
Thank you, Dan. Mr. President and Commissioner Abeywardena, it's an honor to be here for me and announcing the World Ocean Festival. So the World Ocean Festival is a public event dedicated to raise a collective voice for the oceans to show world leaders gathering at the Ocean Conference the urgency for taking action. Our ocean is a connective tissue for the entire world population. It makes planet Earth and us all one, as we are surrounded by shores. At the same time, our ocean is at grave risk of pollution, overfishing, climate change, and more. While coastal cities, island communities feel the most pressing burden of these threats, we know that all people are impacted and many millions across the globe care deeply about the ocean's future. The World Ocean Festival aims to raise the voices of everyone who wants to show their support for the ocean and call to world leaders to take action to save it. As President Thomson mentioned, mentioned in previous communications to us, the World Ocean Festival will precede the start of the Ocean Conference and aims to engage and inspire public audiences. The festival will take place on Sunday, June 4th, in New York City and anywhere around the world where other cities are inspired to self-organize their own events. The festival has two main activities and components, so I am going to start sharing some slides with information for you to know. So the World Ocean Festival, as I said, is going to launch. It's going to be a one-day event on June 4, 2017, in the city of New York. It's a public event. Our hashtag is Save Our Ocean. And we have more description in the website we're launching today. There are two components for the main festival. First is the Ocean March, which is the first of its kind parade of sail, where vessels, small and large, will join together from the Hudson River to the East River to be the collective voice of the ocean. The second event is the Ocean Village, a full day of festivities in Gantry State Park in Long Island City, which will celebrate art, innovation, exhibits from organizations and individuals who are doing incredible work to inspire the world and finding solutions and tools for ocean and climate action. In our website, you will see and find different tools that you can take to act. We have the way and all the tools to organize your own march. You will have an opportunity to join the festival and to add your voice. This is a place where you can register, learn more, and do pledges as well. The Ocean March has a specific component for registering vessels, small and big, so you will find that as additional information as well. There is an opportunity also for volunteers for the World Ocean Festival and have their voices through the social media and welcoming our ocean advocates as well. Activities of the day. The inaugural ceremony will start at 11 in the morning, starting at Pier 64 in the New York City, and going all the way down around the Governor Island and the Statue of Liberty, and then coming up to Gantry State Park where the Ocean Parade is going to end. At the same time, the Ocean Festival at the Gantry State Park is going to start at 10 in the morning all the way to 6 p.m., and it's going to be a day of activities as mentioned. All activities will conclude by 5 p.m. with an award ceremony. The creation of this event is the result of the great passion and commitment of many people, including those here today. I am especially grateful to our host for this inaugural World Ocean Festival, the City of New York. I am also proud to mention our founding partners, organizations that are leaders in ocean conservation, advocacy, and research. Mission Blue, the Ocean Elders, and Oceanic, who are joining us here today. Thank you, Leah Doriol and Luis, for your support from the start. Thank you again to President Thomson for the opportunity you are giving us to support your important initiative for the Ocean Conference. Thank you also to the Commissioner Abeywardena for the support of New York City under the leadership of Mayor de Blasio to host the World Ocean Festival. We would like to invite you all to visit our website. Registration for the Ocean March are open now, and we encourage voters who wish to join the Ocean March, organizers who wish to convene their own Ocean March, and all who wish to join us in this great festival and to be an amplifier. You can visit our website by going to this worldoceanfest.org and to sign up to learn more in advance of June 4th.
Thank you very much. And finally, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Morning, everybody. Excuse the frog in my throat. Really, I'm here to, first of all, thank New York City and Global Brain Foundation for the work that they have done in putting this festival together. As you'd appreciate, it's on the shoulder of the Ocean Conference, and I'll say a bit more about that. Many of you will remember the great work that the Global Brain Foundation did in launching the success of the 2014 climate change conference that we had here at the United Nations. And this is a second round for Global Brain Foundation here at the UN, and I really thank them for all the energy and ideas that they've put into this. I'm sure it'll be a success. And to New York City, our host city for the United Nations, yet again a wonderful example of what you do for the United Nations. I really want to thank you, Penny, for hosting this World Ocean Festival. New York City is a model, not only in this country but around the world, of what cities can do in terms of synergizing the Sustainable Development Goals with their own city development plans, in this case, One NYC. And I really laud New York City for that, because it's what I'm finding governments are doing around the world is they're getting the SDGs into their national plans. But the cities have to do the same, because 60% of humanity is going to be living in cities before very long. So thanks to New York City for hosting this World Ocean Festival. As I said, it's a great way to kick off the week of the conference. As you know, this whole campus is being turned over to the Ocean Festival from the 5th to the 9th of June. This World Ocean Festival is being held on the 4th of June, i.e. the Sunday preceding. So there'll be a celebration of what it means to be out on the water, and then over at Gantry Park, of course, you've heard about the various events that are going to be held there. It's basically a celebration of ocean, how human beings enjoy the joy and bounty of the ocean. Then we get down to the business of the conference itself. Now, why are we having this conference? I'm sure you're all aware that the ocean is in deep trouble, whether you're talking about marine pollution. The easy one to understand there is plastics. There'll be more plastic than fish in the ocean by the year 2050 if we can continue on current trends. We continue to have fisheries subsidies at a time when fish stocks are collapsing. The perversity of that is for all to see. We are looking at degraded coastal ecosystems all around the world. Doesn't matter where you've been, and I've been to address marine communities in Indonesia in the last month, in Indonesia, in Senegal, in the Pacific Islands, and I'm going over to Brussels in a few weeks to talk to the fishing community there. And I'm finding the same picture everywhere, which is that fish stocks are declining, fishermen are scratching their head and wondering what they should be doing about it. And the obvious thing to do is to turn to sustainable management and stop over-exploiting. So the Ocean Conference is timely. I see it as the opportunity for us to address these major problems, these major woes that humanity has put upon the ocean. And of course, you have to also think about climate change when you think about that, because with the ocean acidification, we're already seeing the effects of that. It's serious business in places like Oregon and Washington State, ocean acidification, and that's spreading around the world. Rising ocean temperatures, serious business for the tropics. Life is leaving our tropical waters. It's too hot. 40% of the cause of rising sea levels comes from the fact that ocean temperatures are heating and, of course, expanding. So at the same time, we've got piracy at the high seas, lack of ocean governance. And as you know, we're addressing that through the BB&J negotiations currently underway at the UN. So I could go on and on about the woes of the ocean, but all human problems have got human solutions, and that's what the Ocean Conference is about, providing the solutions, working to find what the solutions are. And that's what we'll be doing for those 5 days. As you know, there's a call to action being negotiated now between member states. That's making good progress. And then at the conference itself, there will be, as well as the plenary leading to that call to action, there will also be the 7 partnership dialogues focused on specific aspects of Sustainable Development Goal 14, the ocean's goal. And there will be, obviously, a program of action coming out of those partnership dialogues as well. Large part of the program for action going forward will also be the register of voluntary commitments, which you can now find on the Ocean Conference website, and which we're encouraging everybody to promote, and everybody who gives a hoot about the health of the ocean to register their voluntary commitments now, between now and the conference, so that you stand and be counted in our call for action on the work that we'll be doing to reverse the cycle of decline in which the ocean has been caught. And that's what we'll be doing for the next few years after the conference is over. So I think in all of this, the role of the media is very important. We have to get the message out there, first of all, about ocean's parlous state, but secondly, the fact that we're doing something about it. I'll be happy to work with you between now and June and going forward after that on anything you want to do to add to that cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. We've got a few minutes for questions before the noon briefings begin. So if anyone had a question, we can try and answer it for you. Yes, please tell us who you are. And
thank you. Sia Pack from Scan News. As a contributor to economy here in New York myself, to pay tolls every day, what percentage of that toll money goes to cleaning rivers like Hudson and things like that? Thank you.
That is a great question. I don't have those numbers for you right now. My communications director is here, and we'd be happy to follow up with you on that question.
Thank you.
Thank you. Linda Rollins with Interpress Service. President Thomson, I wanted to ask you about the Oceans Conference. You were talking about potentially voluntary commitments. Will there be any progress made perhaps towards the more binding sorts of commitments that might need to come out from member states? And I'm also interested, we hear a lot about the impact of climate change on oceans, but are there ways that the oceans can also be protected in order to also mitigate the impact of climate change? And if that will be considered at the meeting as well. Thank you.
Sure. Well, the link between climate change and the ocean is, doesn't need any particular explanation from me. It's same sides of the one coin. 50% of the air that we breathe comes from the ocean. The oceans are actually, you hear this expression, the lungs of the planet. What most people don't understand is that there is a daily Mexican wave going around the planet, which is the daily migration between the mesopelagic and the epipelagic zones. In other words, the first 200 meters of the ocean, and then the 200 meters to 1,000 meters. So the migration of life between those two zones, which is the biggest migration of life on this planet, is happening daily and is going around the planet like a Mexican wave because of the fact that life comes up from the mesopelagic into the upper pelagic during darkness. Okay, so that movement up and down is actually what pumps the world's aerobic system, if you like. So, climate change and the ocean are absolutely linked, and climate is the great absorber of CO2, etc., etc. So we have to be making progress on both fronts, and I don't want to boast for Fiji, but Fiji is co-hosting with the government of Sweden, the Ocean Conference this year, and we're also taking on the chairmanship of COP23 in Bonn later this year. So we see it's existential, not just for Pacific Islands, but for the whole world. In terms of what's going to come out of the conference, that call to action, have a look at it. It's a substantial document in development. It's now in its second phase. I saw a copy yesterday. Singapore and Portugal are leading the charge there, but that's being developed by member states. It's a very strong document and foresees future action. In particular, that's the important thing, obviously. And then these voluntary commitments, I'm really making a strong call everywhere I go for these to snowball between now and June, so that we actually have a register of people that are prepared to stand up and be counted. When I say people, I mean governments, organizations, communities, that are prepared to stand up and be counted and to be called upon as we go ahead with our work program in the years to come. If there's a bunch of people who are interested in beach litter, from the girls that I met in Indonesia recently, who, by the way, are incredibly successful, and they're going to get Bali to ban plastic bags by 2018. They've got 1 million signatures behind their campaign now of bye-bye plastic bags. From a couple of young girls like that through to governments and organizations that are in partnership. So I think solid action is going to come out of the conference.
Mr. President, I'm going to add something. We just want to highlight one of our partnerships with the UN Environmental Protection Agency, that is with the campaign, Clean Seas campaign, that it's an addition to the World Ocean Festival as well. So there's a lot of emphasis on it.
Very good, thank you. Yes.
A little advertisement there, because occasionally I look at my briefing notes and I can see my staff there on that point. UNEP, I really do encourage you all to have a look at the UN Environment's Clean Seas campaign. Again, while I was out in Indonesia, I was with Eric Solheim launching that on the beach in Indonesia. And their Clean Seas program is really worth having a look at. It's on hashtag #MyCleanSeas. And it's for marine pollution generally, everything from the streams through the lakes or beaches and coastlines. But I think the place where most people see it is on the beaches that you go to. And, beaches of the world are just, there's almost as much plastic as there is sand nowadays. So please have a look at what UN Environment is doing. It's a really great program.
I want to add something. If you want to follow us on the website, we're going to have a lot of activities and align the Day of Clean the Beach program, self-organized events as well. So more to follow on that.
Very good. There's a question here, and then we'll go here. Sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President, and thank your colleagues for this presentation. As you have said, preserving the oceans includes many things. One of them is avoiding conflict in the oceans. And as you know, tension is rising in the South China Sea. The Filipino troops are going to occupy an islet very soon, rising more tension in the area. Do you, as a President of the General Assembly, do you play any role in diffusing tensions in the ocean?
Based on 3 pillars, human rights, development, and peace and security. I have responsibility for presiding over the General Assembly. I regard the peace and security pillar as being primarily the job of the Security Council, and I try not to duplicate the work thereof. Obviously, as President of the General Assembly, from time to time, we are involved in security matters as well. As you know, we got involved in the Syria one at one stage. But generally speaking, I do believe in terms of good governance, in division of work. We have a Secretariat and a Security Council working full-time on security. My background is development. I have made the theme of the 71st session the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. And for as long as I'm President, that is the focus of the General Assembly's work. My work ends in September, and there'll be another focus then. But this Ocean Conference is about the SDGs. It's not about peace and security on the ocean, which you quite rightly point out. There are various issues around the world where peace and security is affected by oceanic situations. But that's not what this conference is about. This is about support for SDG 14, the ocean's goal. Thank you.
Very good. And time for one more question.
Sure, thanks a lot. Matthew Lee, Intercity Press. I did see the bye-bye plastic bags on the website. So I have a New York City question, actually, since you're here. I just wanted, I know that Albany blocked this idea of a plastic bag 5-cent charge, and the mayor has said that he'd be open to banning it. Is that something that would need? Do you believe Albany approval, or he could just do it? And since you're here, and the spokesman has said that we have he anticipated the noon briefing starting late. So I'm going to ask you this question as well. The Secretary General has said he wants to reform the UN. The administration in Washington has said they want to see reforms. I know that you work very closely with the UN. Are there any reforms that you could name that you'd like to see the UN implement, if it may be dealing with cholera in Haiti or protection of whistleblowers? Can you name something that you think the UN could do a better job on than it's doing today? Thanks.
Thank you. When on the plastic bags, I think the mayor and city hall work very closely with city council in Albany to ensure that we get these policies that are really critical for New Yorkers in the city and throughout the state through. So that's my comment on that. When it comes to your question on reforms, New York City takes our role as host city to the UN headquarters, UN affiliates, 193 permanent missions very seriously. It is an honor and a privilege for us to be in this role. It is not a priority of mine in my role as Commissioner for International Affairs to focus on the reforms which I know that the UN is doing within itself. It's a conversation that even yesterday the Secretary General mentioned during his ceremony with Malala. What I think a real value add for the city to play as host city is to identify the synergies between what New York City is trying to do in terms of ensuring a sustainable, equitable, resilient future for the city and identifying the opportunities to partner with the global community. And that's why our focus has been under Global Vision Urban Action and really identifying the ways that we can partner on issues that matter here. And when we think about the World Ocean Festival and our 520 coastal lines of coastline, this is where a priority opportunity is for us, is to have those conversations and to be part of that. So that's my role here.
But just on an issue like Haiti cholera, where you have a number of people that are historically from Haiti in Brooklyn, do you feel any need to either use your access to the UN to raise that issue, or have you ever felt had a thought on what the UN should be doing on an issue like that? Thanks. I really appreciate it.
Sure, and this is a question you brought up the last time I was here for the economic impact analysis, and the Undersecretary General Christina Gayak at that time handled that question appropriately then. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Dan, can I just add on New York City? Have a look at this. It's really worth looking at. I'll tell you why. I hear so much criticism about the fact that the SDGs are supposed to be universal, but that developed countries are not giving the same attention that developing countries are, and that this is something that the whole of the planet has to be consumed by. Why? Because consumption and production is at the very heart of the SDGs, and much of that consumption goes on in the developed world. But here's an example. New York City, one of the great developed cities of the world, is pushing the SDGs really hard and synergize with their program. So I think that needs due recognition by all of us here at the UN, and I thank New York City for that.
Announcement. The website's launched today. The UN conference website is also available to everyone, oceanconference.un.org. I'm going to thank our speakers for coming to present these exciting initiatives, and thank you, the media, for reporting and for your questions. Thank you very much.